Hi guys, welcome back to Kelvin's Kitchen. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. On today's episode, we're making one of my favorite cakes, tres leches. Tres leches is a very light, fluffy cake soaked in tres leches and then topped with whipped cream. Bizcocho de tres leches coming up. First off, we're sifting all the dry ingredients into the mixing bowl of our stand mixer. Starting off with 2 2/3 cups of all-purpose flour. Next, 2 1/4 cups of white sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Carefully sift this out. This is going to be a pretty big cake. Give this a quick whisk and then set it aside. For the wet ingredients, I have 1/3 of a cup of sour cream, 1 1/2 cup of whole milk, 1 tablespoon of pure vanilla extract. Now we need 8 egg whites. This is going to be a beautiful white cake, even though we use the vanilla. Please make sure to use real vanilla and do not use white vanilla, which is not real vanilla. Give this a quick whisk and we set it aside. Back to our dry ingredients. For this recipe, we are using 17 tablespoons of unsalted butter at room temperature. We're going to add half the butter first into groups, and what's going to happen is this flour is going to be coated with all the fat from the butter and it will inhibit the gluten formation. Okay, let's give this a start. On low. This is called the reverse crumb method and I love it. So easy to do too. And add the rest of the butter in, and you're going to notice that it turns into this pastry dough like crumble. It just needs to go on a little bit longer. Also, scrape the bowl down a bit to make sure that nothing is hitting at the bottom. Okay, that looks good to me. On low, add half and let it mix up. And add the rest of it. Check the bowl, make sure that nothing bad is happening down there. Mix it for a little bit longer until everything is nicely combined. Let's see. Beautiful, nice, smooth dough. I'm going to finish it off by hand to make sure that there are no lumps at the bottom. Now, we're using a 9x13 baking pan. Line it with parchment paper. Now, pour your batter in. This batter smells so good, I can't even tell you. Give it a little shake, and we're going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 40 minutes. And what takes a tres leches cake to the next level is of course the tres leches. We're going to use 3/4 of a cup of whole milk, 12 fluid ounce can of evaporated milk, and 14 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. Now we give it a whisk and set it aside. And you do really need to whisk it, otherwise the sweetened condensed milk is just gonna sit at the bottom. "40 minutes later and the cake is done. Look at that, nice and clean. Now we need to let the cake cool off. While the cake is cooling off, let's go ahead and make the frosting. We are using 3 cups of heavy cream. and then half a cup of confectioner's sugar. The confectioner's sugar has some starch in it, which will help thicken the whipped cream up, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now mix it all up. And this looks good. Any more and it will be just too far, but this is just right. Our cake is nice and cool. Now let's get it out of the baking pan and remove the parchment paper off. Looks pretty good. Now very carefully place the cake into a large dish. There we go. Now, to help the cake soak up the tres leches, we're going to pierce it with a fork over and over and over and over, just like so. Pour the tres leches over the cake. Let's go slow. This cake is gonna be like a sponge. Don't rush it. This is a very important part of the process. Some will go over to the side. Do not worry. It will get absorbed to the bottom. Oh yeah, it is nice and moist. It is time to add the frosting. I am using a scoop. However, you can just plop it all on top. Now we smooth it all out and try to do it as even as you can. Look at all that whipped cream, so amazing. Let's cut a piece and carefully take it out. Of course, the first piece is the most difficult, but since we switched to a bigger container, it's much easier. Transfer it over. This would be delicious, but I gotta tell you, it looks a little plain. To garnish it, I am using a tiny strawberry. We're gonna cut it up into slices and then fan it out just like so. Place the strawberry on top along with a sprig of mint. Question of the day. Have you ever had tres leches? Please let me know in the comment box down below. I think it was wonderful. And you know what time it is? It is time for a taste. Oh my god, it is so light and creamy, and the cake just falls apart in your mouth thanks to the tres leches. Oh my god, it is so good. A perfect balance of sweetness. It is an amazing cake. And there you guys have it. Tres leches cake. Enjoy! If you guys enjoyed this recipe, please consider subscribing. Give it a thumbs up. Leave me some comments down below. And I think YouTube wants you to watch that recipe and that recipe. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thanks for watching.